Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible organ sitting right inside your head? It's your brain. This amazing, squishy command center is responsible for everything you do, think, and feel. Let's start with some basic numbers that are, frankly, mind-boggling. The average adult human brain weighs about 1.5 kilograms, or around 3 pounds. That's not very heavy, is it? But don't let its small size fool you. This organ is the most complex structure we know of in the entire universe. It's more intricate than any supercomputer and more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Consider this. Everything you are, from your memories to your personality, lives inside that 3-pound marvel. Now, let's talk about what the brain is made of. It's not just a lump of gray stuff, it's a highly organized system. About 60% of your brain is made of fat, making it the fattiest organ in your body. The other major components are water, protein, carbohydrates, and salts. This fatty composition is crucial for its health and function, but the real stars of the show are the brain cells, known as neurons. Your brain contains somewhere between 86 billion and 100 billion of these tiny communicators. To put that into perspective, that's more neurons than there are stars in our Milky Way galaxy. Each one is a tiny processor, working together to create you. All this incredible activity requires a lot of energy. Your brain, despite making up only about 2% of your total body weight, is an energy hog. It greedily consumes about 20% of your body's total oxygen and calories. Think about that for a moment. 1/5 of everything you eat and breathe goes directly to powering your thoughts, feelings, and actions. This energy demand never stops, not even when you're sleeping. Your brain is always on, always working, and always ensuring that your body's systems are running smoothly. It's like having a super-powered engine that is constantly idling, ready to rev up at a moment's notice. Finally, let's consider the sheer scale of its internal wiring. Those billions of neurons are connected to each other, forming a vast and intricate network. The connections are made through structures called axons and dendrites, creating pathways for electrical signals. If you could stretch out all the axons in an adult brain and lay them end to end, they would extend for about 100,000 kilometers, or 60,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth 4 times. This incredible web of connections is what allows your brain to process information at lightning speed, learn new things, and create the rich tapestry of your conscious experience. It's a universe of complexity right inside your skull. Your brain isn't just one single unit, it's more like a team of highly specialized players, each with a critical job to do. Let's meet the main parts. The largest part of the brain is the cerebrum, which is divided into 2 halves, or hemispheres. The outer, wrinkly layer of the cerebrum is called the cerebral cortex. This is where most of your high-level thinking happens. Things like language, reasoning, problem-solving, and voluntary movements. All those folds and grooves aren't just for show. They dramatically increase the surface area of the cortex, allowing us to pack in more processing power without needing a giant head. Next up, tucked away at the back of your brain, beneath the cerebrum, is the cerebellum. Its name means little brain, and it plays a huge role in your physical abilities. The cerebellum is the master of coordination, balance, and posture. When you ride a bike, catch a ball, or even just walk across a room without stumbling, you have your cerebellum to thank. It fine-tunes your movements, making them smooth and precise rather than jerky and clumsy. It works behind the scenes, automatically adjusting your actions based on sensory feedback from your body, ensuring you can navigate the world gracefully. Deep inside the brain, nestled within the temporal lobes, are 2 small almond-shaped structures called the amygdalae. The amygdala is the emotional core of your brain. It is responsible for processing some of our most powerful feelings, especially fear, anger, and pleasure. When you encounter a threatening situation, your amygdala springs into action, triggering the fight-or-flight response that prepares your body to face danger. It also helps tag memories with emotional significance, which is why you often remember emotionally charged events, both good and bad, more vividly than mundane ones. It's the part of you that feels deeply. Right next to the amygdala is another crucial player in the memory game, the hippocampus. This seahorse-shaped structure is absolutely essential for forming new memories and for learning. Think of it as your brain's save button. When you learn a new fact or have a new experience, the hippocampus processes that information and helps convert it from a short-term memory into a long-term one that can be stored elsewhere in the brain. It is also one of the very few areas in the adult brain where new neurons can be born, a process called neurogenesis. This makes the hippocampus a central hub for lifelong learning and adaptation. So, we know the brain has billions of neurons, but how do they actually work? Think of each neuron as a tiny biological wire that carries information. A neuron has three main parts: the cell body, dendrites, and an axon. The dendrites are like little branches that receive signals from other neurons. The cell body is the neuron's headquarters, processing these incoming signals. If the signal is strong enough, the neuron fires, sending an electrical impulse, called an action potential, down its axon. The axon is a long, cable-like projection that carries the signal away from the cell body to send it to other neurons. This process of sending signals isn't just a simple one-to-one connection. It's an electrical symphony on a massive scale. When the electrical impulse reaches the end of the axon, it arrives at a junction called a synapse. Here, the signal needs to cross a tiny gap to reach the dendrite of the next neuron. It does this by releasing chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These chemicals, like dopamine, serotonin, and acetylcholine, float across the synapse and bind to the next neuron, either exciting it to pass the message along or inhibiting it from firing. This complex interplay of electrical and chemical signaling happens trillions of times every second. The speed of this communication is truly astounding. To make the signals travel faster, many axons are wrapped in a fatty, insulating layer called the myelin sheath. Myelin acts like the plastic coating on an electrical wire, preventing the signal from leaking out and allowing it to jump down the axon at incredible speeds, up to 120 meters per second, or over 268 miles per hour. This rapid transmission is what allows you to react instantly, like pulling your hand away from a hot stove before you even consciously register the pain. The white matter in your brain is primarily made up of these myelinated axons, forming the superhighways of your neural network. This constant chatter between neurons is what underlies every single one of your thoughts, actions, and perceptions. When you see a friend's face, your brain isn't seeing a single picture. Instead, millions of neurons in your visual cortex are firing in a specific pattern, processing color, shape, and movement. Other neurons in your memory centers are firing to recognize that face, while neurons in your emotional centers might fire to make you feel happy. Every experience is a unique pattern of neural firing, a fleeting but beautiful dance of electricity and chemistry that creates the seamless reality you experience every moment of your life. How exactly does your brain store a lifetime of experiences, from your first day of school to what you ate for breakfast this morning? The answer lies in a remarkable property of the brain called neuroplasticity. This big word simply means that your brain is not fixed. It is constantly changing its structure and organization in response to your experiences. Every time you learn something new, whether it's a historical fact, a new language, or how to play an instrument, you are physically rewiring your brain. You are forging new connections between neurons and strengthening existing ones. It's like paving new roads in your mind. The process starts with short-term memory, which is your brain's temporary notepad. It can hold a small amount of information, like a phone number you just heard, for a very brief period. If that information is important, your brain works to transfer it to long-term memory, a process called consolidation. This is where the hippocampus plays its starring role. It replays the neural activity associated with the new experience, helping to strengthen the synaptic connections involved. Over time, these memories become independent of the hippocampus and are stored in various parts of the cerebral cortex, becoming a permanent part of your knowledge base. This strengthening of connections is a physical process. When you repeatedly practice a skill or recall a piece of information, the synapses involved in that memory become more efficient. This phenomenon is known as long-term potentiation. The neurons involved essentially get better at talking to each other. More neurotransmitters might be released, or the receiving neuron might become more sensitive to them. This is the cellular basis of learning and memory. The old saying, "practice makes perfect," is literally true at a neurological level. The more you use a neural pathway, the stronger and faster it becomes. Interestingly, your emotions play a huge part in what you remember. The amygdala, your brain's emotional center, works closely with the hippocampus. When an experience is emotionally charged, The amygdala signals to the hippocampus that this event is important and worth remembering. This is why you can often recall vivid details from moments of great joy, surprise, or fear. The emotional tag helps to cement the memory more firmly in your brain. This system was incredibly useful for our ancestors, helping them remember a dangerous predator or a source of good food. Today it explains why our most meaningful memories are often our strongest. Why do we spend roughly a third of our lives unconscious? It might seem like a waste of time, but honestly, sleep is absolutely essential for a healthy, high-functioning brain. While your body is resting, your brain is actually incredibly busy. It's like a diligent night crew that comes in to clean, repair, and organize everything after a long day. One of its most critical jobs during sleep is memory consolidation. As you sleep, your brain replays the events of the day, strengthening the neural connections for important memories, and pruning away the ones that are less relevant. This is a key reason why a good night's sleep can help you remember what you studied. During sleep, your brain also does some vital housekeeping. Throughout the day, as your brain cells work hard, they produce metabolic waste products, including a protein called beta amyloid. In your waking hours, this waste can build up. When you sleep, however, your brain activates a fascinating glymphatic system. This system uses cerebrospinal fluid to flush out these toxins from the spaces between your brain cells. It's like a power washing for your brain. This cleaning process is thought to be crucial for long-term brain health, as the buildup of proteins like beta amyloid is linked to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Sleep doesn't just happen in one long block, it occurs in cycles. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes and consists of different stages, including light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. Deep sleep is when most of the physical restoration and glymphatic cleaning occurs. REM sleep, on the other hand, is when your brain is almost as active as when you're awake, and it's the stage where most vivid dreaming happens. This stage is believed to be critical for emotional regulation and creative problem solving. Your brain processes the day's emotional experiences, helping you wake up with a fresh perspective. Failing to get enough sleep has immediate and serious consequences for your brain function. Sleep deprivation can impair your attention, concentration, judgment, and decision-making abilities. In fact, being severely sleep-deprived can have effects on your cognitive performance similar to being intoxicated. Your reaction times slow down, your mood can become unstable, and your ability to learn new information plummets. Prioritizing consistent, quality sleep isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental requirement for keeping your brain sharp, healthy, and resilient. So the next time you feel tempted to burn the midnight oil, just remember the vital work your brain needs to do. Section 6. Weird and wonderful, curious brain phenomena. You know, our brains are capable of some truly strange and fascinating things that scientists are still working to fully understand. Have you ever gotten a brain freeze from eating ice cream too quickly? That sudden sharp headache isn't actually your brain freezing. Interestingly enough, your brain itself has no pain receptors, which is why surgeons can perform brain surgery on a conscious patient. Brain freeze, scientifically known as phenopalatin ganglioneuralgia, try saying that 5 times fast, is caused by the rapid cooling and then re-warming of blood vessels in the roof of your mouth. This triggers a nerve to send a pain signal to your brain, which you perceive as a headache. Another incredible phenomenon is the existence of mirror neurons. These are special brain cells that fire not only when you perform an action, but also when you watch someone else perform that same action. For example, when you see someone smile, your mirror neurons for smiling fire, helping you understand their emotion. Scientists believe these neurons are the basis for empathy, social learning, and our ability to understand the intentions of others. They allow us to mirror the experiences of others inside our own minds, forming a fundamental bridge for human connection and cooperation. They are why you might wince when you see someone else get hurt. Have you ever experienced your senses getting mixed up? For some people, this is a daily reality. The condition is called synesthesia, and it causes the stimulation of one sensory pathway to automatically trigger an experience in a second, unrelated pathway. Someone with synesthesia might see colors when they hear music, taste shapes, or perceive letters and numbers as having their own distinct colors. This isn't just an imagination, it's a genuine, automatic, perceptual experience. It's caused by extra cross-wiring between different sensory areas of the brain, creating a rich and unique way of experiencing the world that most of us can only imagine. Finally, consider the Stroop effect. A simple test that beautifully demonstrates the complex processing happening in your brain. Try this. Look at the word blue, written in red ink, and say the color of the ink aloud. You'll likely hesitate for a split second. That's because your brain has two conflicting pieces of information to process: the word itself and the color of the ink. Your brain's automatic response is to read the word, which interferes with your task of naming the color. This slight delay reveals the intricate dance of automatic and controlled processes constantly at play inside your head, showing how your brain juggles different tasks simultaneously. Section 7. Fueling the engine. How lifestyle shapes your brain. Your brain is not an isolated organ. Its health is deeply connected to your daily habits and lifestyle choices. What you do, what you eat, and how you feel all have a profound impact on your cognitive function. Let's start with exercise. Physical activity is one of the best things you can do for your brain. When you exercise, you increase blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and essential nutrients. Exercise also stimulates the release of a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which is like a fertilizer for your brain. It encourages the growth of new neurons and synapses, improving learning, memory, and mood. Just as a car needs the right fuel, your brain needs the right nutrients to run optimally. A diet rich in certain foods can support brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, are crucial. In fact, a significant portion of your brain's fatty matter is made of DHA and omega-3. These fats are essential for building cell membranes and promoting good communication between neurons. Antioxidants, found in colorful fruits and vegetables like blueberries and spinach, help protect your brain from oxidative stress, which can damage cells. A healthy, balanced diet is truly brain food. On the flip side, chronic stress can be incredibly damaging to your brain. When you are stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. In short bursts, cortisol can be helpful, but when you are constantly stressed, high levels of cortisol can be toxic to your brain. It can shrink the hippocampus, the area we just learned is vital for memory and learning, and it can disrupt the communication between neurons. This is why chronic stress can lead to memory problems, difficulty concentrating, and mood disorders. Finding healthy ways to manage stress, such as through mindfulness, meditation, or hobbies, is crucial for protecting your brain. Don't forget the importance of hydration. Your brain is about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can have a noticeable effect on its function. When you're dehydrated, your brain can temporarily shrink, and you may experience brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and headaches. Staying properly hydrated ensures that your brain has the fluid it needs to transport nutrients, flush out waste, and maintain its electrical signaling. So, keeping a water bottle handy and sipping throughout the day is a simple but powerful way to support your cognitive performance and overall brain health. It's one of the easiest brain hacks there is. Section 8. Brains are like fingerprints, unique by design. While we all have the same basic brain structures, no two brains are exactly alike. Your brain is as unique as your fingerprint, sculpted by a combination of your genes and your life experiences. This is why we all have different talents, personalities, and ways of thinking. For a long time, scientists have studied potential differences between male and female brains. Research has found some subtle average differences in structure and connectivity. For example, on average, women's brains may have more connections between the left and right hemispheres, while men's brains may have more connections within each hemisphere. These findings have led to some popular theories, such as the idea that stronger cross-hemisphere connections in women might support better multitasking and verbal skills, while stronger intra-hemisphere connections in men might relate to better spatial and motor skills. However, it is incredibly important to understand that these are just averages observed across large groups of people. The variation within each gender is far, far greater than the average difference between them. You can't look at an individual's brain scan and definitively say whether they are male or female based on these traits alone. The truth is that our brains exist on a spectrum. Most people have a mosaic of features, some of which are more common in males, some more common in females, and many that are common to both. Your skills and abilities are not determined by your gender. They are shaped by your individual brain wiring, which is a product of your unique life. A person's passion for mathematics, art, language, or sports is a result of their personal journey, practice, and the specific neural pathways they have strengthened over time, not a pre-programmed destiny based on being male or female. Ultimately, the most important takeaway is that every brain is a unique and powerful organ with its own strengths and potential. Instead of getting caught up in generalizations, it's far more exciting to celebrate this incredible diversity. Your brain's unique structure and wiring give you a one-of-a-kind perspective on the world. The way you solve problems, the jokes you find funny, and the memories you cherish are all a reflection of your individual neural landscape. Embracing this uniqueness is the first step toward understanding and appreciating the amazing capabilities of the brain you have. Section 9. The ever-changing brain, your ultimate superpower. If there is one single fact about the brain that should leave you in awe, it is its incredible capacity for change. The concept of neuroplasticity, which we touched on earlier, is truly your brain's ultimate superpower. For centuries, it was believed that the adult brain was a fixed and unchangeable entity. We thought that once you reached adulthood, you were stuck with the brain you had. But we now know that this is completely untrue. Your brain is constantly remodeling itself, creating new connections and pruning old ones based on your thoughts, actions, and experiences, right up until the day you die. This means you are the architect of your own brain. Every time you decide to learn a new skill, like playing the guitar, you are physically changing your brain's structure. The regions responsible for finger dexterity and auditory processing will grow and become more efficient. When you decide to learn a new language, you are building new neural pathways, which has been shown to increase gray matter density and even delay the onset of cognitive decline in old age. Your brain is not a static object, it is a dynamic, living, and ever-evolving masterpiece that you are actively sculpting every single day. This power of change extends beyond just learning new skills. You can also rewire your brain for happiness and resilience. Practices like mindfulness and meditation have been scientifically shown to change both the function and structure of the brain. Regular meditation can increase gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the area associated with focus and emotional regulation, while shrinking the amygdala, the fear center. This means you can train your brain to be less reactive to stress and more calm and focused. You have the ability to consciously change your thought patterns and, in doing so, change the very organ that produces them. So, as we conclude this journey into the amazing world of your brain, remember this: you are not a finished product. Your brain is a universe of potential waiting to be explored. It holds an estimated 2.5 petabytes of storage capacity. That's equivalent to about 3 million hours of YouTube videos. You have more power to shape who you become than you might ever have realized. So, stay curious, keep learning, and challenge yourself. Every new experience, every book you read, and every new person you meet is an opportunity to add another beautiful, intricate detail to the incredible, ever-changing tapestry of your mind. Now that is truly mind-blowing.